I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have roll call. All of the council members are here present, so we can do business. Please silence your electronic devices so we don't get interrupted. We are now up to item number 5 on the agenda, and that is additions and or approval to the agenda. And, Jerry, you had something earlier, and that was what again? That was an agenda item, was it not?
Well, yeah, I got a sign issue that I'd like to add down on probably 12 for other.
Sign?
Sign, yes.
Will it need council action, or is it something?
I will just, yes, I think it will.
Okay, we try to get as much as we can on the agenda so that we can prepare ourselves, but if it's something that isn't real challenging, we'll certainly see what group wants to have it on there. So your recommendation is to have sign under other, correct?
12A.
Okay, and that's Jeremy. Anyone else that wants to add? If not, a motion would be in order to accept.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as stated with the one addition.
Second.
Motion's been made and second to accept the agenda with one additional under other. Discussion, sensing none. All in favor of that motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Contrary, same sign. And the abstentions, sensing none, passed unanimous. Okay, we are now into approval of the August 2020 bills. Motion would be in order.
So moved, approve the August 2020 bills.
So second.
And that has been circulated. Most of us, I did call in, got some clarifications. Anyone else? If not, no other discussion. I'll call the question. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Any
I'd like
abstentions? Go ahead.
Record to reflect that I'm abstaining from check number 020029 and 020061.
And the record has got that? Okay, thank you, Brian. We'll call the question. All those, oh, you did already, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. The record showed that Brian abstained from 2 that he shared with us for obvious reasons. And so, consent agenda, we can do them in mass. There's a grand total of 3. What's your wishes?
Question on 7A, the minutes from August 31st. I wasn't there, but I just wonder if, like the bid that was let out for the dirt work, it just states that Herbert Construction got the bid. Would it not be appropriate to list, was there other bidders involved? For the record, should we be having that on there?
They're available for public to view if they want to view them.
Yeah, so that's not in the minutes. Should it not be in the minutes?
It's not required, but I can add it.
Well, I just think it's a good way for both sides to keep things clean. I would like to see that.
It was in the packet.
And then for the August 12th minutes, we had, member Herbert stated that he did not agree with engineer opinion and further stated that anyone can place anything at any time in the city right away without city approval. I'm not so sure, Brian, that you meant that word for word.
Not like that, no.
Yeah, I just wonder if that shouldn't be.
Can we change that?
Well, it's what you said. I mean, I don't know. I think you can clarify it tonight, Brian.
That wasn't my intent. My intent was that someone could place a driveway or their mailbox in city right away within discretionary manner. I didn't mean to make anything anywhere. That's a little bit too broad, so I apologize for that.
Well,
I'll make note of it on these minutes.
okay,
That's all I have.
great. So it's no formal action. It's going to be city administrator does
Well, I
it.
just
We
want
need to bring those minutes back to redo that, or on our honor, he will modify it so that the permanent records will show that the slight modification. And Mr. Bodie would want to share that to Brian.
I'll make the correction in tonight's minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay. So in tonight's minutes, it will reflect the modifications versions of last night, of last month's minutes.
Thank you, because I don't want to have any other issues coming down the road that somebody
Great.
did something silent.
And the fact Brian's a council member and he's doing the work just to, so it stays clean for him, stays clean for us. If there is other bids, I think it should be noted.
Very good. So that's clear for you, Mr. Bodie, if this message goes through, that you will get your
Yes.
marching orders, for lack of better words? Okay. Any other comments as it relates to the consent agenda? Typically, we would carve that out to have individual discussion, but it's spilled over. That's just, we're getting to know each other rather well. So, any other discussion? If not, the motion would be in order to accept all of the items, or do you want to go individually? What's the wishes of the
So
council? For all three, Bill?
Yes, that's the consent.
Okay, the consent agenda, the motion has been made and seconded to accept all three of the consent agenda items, approval of the council meetings, the acknowledgement of the building permits, and the sheriff's report. Any other discussion? Sensing none, I'll call a question. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Passed unanimous. Thank you very much. Planning Commission, Bill, please proceed.
Council, we have one item on the agenda tonight. This is a qualified minor subdivision. Owner is Jesse Johnson, 2195 623rd Avenue. The request is for a qualified minor subdivision of approximately 2 acres from 103.39 acre. The property is located in an Ag 40 zoning district. Total acreage is 103.39. Purpose of this application is to subdivide and sell off approximately 2 acres for building purposes. A declaration of restriction is required to restrict a minimum of 38 acres as non-buildable to maintain the Ag 40 zoning. Qualified minor subdivision does not require a public hearing, but does require Planning Commission and Council approval. Planning Commission unanimously approved this qualified minor.
Okay, thank you, Bill. It's on page 28 of the packet, if anybody needs to catch up to it for the public that might be watching. So you heard the recommendation of the planning chair. What's the wishes of the council?
Just so you know, if you drive out of Hubert Lane,
Right on that
you're
corner.
facing right that property.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to accept the resolution 2020-32 approving of that qualified minor subdivision of the Jesse J.L. Johnsons. Other discussions? Okay, sensing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of that motion signify by stating aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Sensing none, passed unanimous. That was it?
Yep, that's
Thank you, Bill. Sheriff's report.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, we have nothing from the sheriff this month. Quarterly, he does come out, or their representatives. Emergency management. Mike.
Good evening, Council. Can you hear me okay?
We are fine.
I would like to request, after a bunch of research this summer on the sirens, and it was in the budget for a new siren that would be placed. I'm not sure on the total placement yet, but it'll be somewhere out along Glacier Road or out in that area, Half Man Road. It all depends on Stern's poles placements and my final map as it's coming in, for the total cost of $18,370.62 out of the emergency management budget, new siren and installation. So it matches all the other sirens. It's a DC siren, same setup.
Okay, you've heard the request from our emergency management director. What's the wishes of the council? We do have it in the budget, you heard that.
You did say that's, and I know this, but I just want everybody to hear this, that Stearns has the map of where these sirens should be placed, and we're following that.
Stearns doesn't have a map of that. I've been working with, they leave it up to all the cities.
Okay.
But what I do is when we get close to our boundaries, for example, I've worked with Way Park or St. Augusta to see if there's some sharing, but we haven't gotten that close to the boundaries. But they are on file for other cities to see, and I'm working with Federal Signal. They have a software program for sighting sirens, and working off of the land topography obstructions and distances. So I've been working with Dan McCoy from Granite Electronics on that, and I've offered to share them with Erin anytime she wants to see them. So
Thank you.
thank you, Bill.
So Jacobs Prairie doesn't have a local government unit if you're heading in that direction, so it would be Wakefield or Collegeville townships that would be
Yeah,
concerned with?
or this, that would be the city or the county.
Oh,
But yeah, but as we go out with Pleasant Lake, that gets into Way Park area. And as we go down 137 and 47, that gets into St. Augusta's area, or even some areas along 141. And as we come back go east, we don't get in any of the Cold Spring area.
Okay.
So we're far enough away.
Just verifying that I was
Yes.
listening to where you were planning on putting it, Mike.
Yeah.
So what's the wishes of the council? Go ahead,
One
Donnie.
question, I know north, my son just lives by Happinville. I know you can hear the sirens in from town here. Well, I think, what if you can, get to the boundary line between like St. Joe and Rock, because there's homes along too, there's a whole bunch of homes out there where Mr. Carl's farm is on there. I think it would be beneficial maybe even to Jacobs Prairie here if we can get closer to the boundary. I mean, when you look at it, you can decide, but I think that would be probably beneficial to more people.
Yes, my goal is to make sure that we hit the homes up there along Half Man.
Yeah.
Also, that if there's people out riding horses at the county park and in that area where the public has a chance to be outside, because the sirens are mainly to be outside warning devices. So that's my goal, because I'm worried about the lakes, and worried about where people are outside, and I'm worried about making sure I cover the most citizens for the buck. So I do go back and I look at these maps. The last siren test we did, I did go sit out at where this new Snyder edition is off of 141, and I sat out there to make sure you could hear the siren that's out on 220. So I do go around and make sure we are getting coverage.
Okay, good.
Very good. So, thanks for that report, Michael. I think we have council action. Where are we at? Did we make a motion already, or? Okay, I think it would be in order, though, for us to go ahead with the recommendation that Mike has, so if we
Make a
could.
motion to approve.
Okay, and we have it in the budget? Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to have Mike from the Emergency Management Director continue to proceed with that. So, any other discussion? Sensing none. All those in favor of that motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Passed unanimous. Good luck. Thank you. Anything else, Mike?
No, just to let you know, it is a local electrician I've been training on the sirens, and he's been working out well, and I get my batteries from Schaefer Electric, so I try and keep as much of the work that I need done on the sirens in the local area.
Thank you. That's the spirit. That's what we need to have. Okay. Engineering. Justin, please proceed.
Mayor and Council, I don't have any specific items this evening, unless you have anything for me.
No. We had a great discussion for the public during the workshop, and Justin is still sitting here through that or some of that. There were no spirited conversations, but there was a unique effort for all of us to work on one particular issue that was bothering us for some time. And thank you, Justin, for sitting through that and absorbing that. So, questions that any of the council members has of our engineering? Not? Keep up the great work, Justin. Talk to you again soon. And Public Works.
As Mayor, council members, sorry I did not get you a written report this week. I do not have much to add to our previous discussions. We did have salt delivered for our winter season. With any knock on wood, there'll be some left next spring. The school did ask if we had any bleachers they could use. They want to hold some outside classes with the distance learning and such. So we did have the 2 bleachers by the ball field, so I had the guys take them over to the school, and they placed them there, they'll be over there. I would imagine until sometime it gets too cold outside, they don't do outside learning anymore. Just an FYI. And we did get some more air patching done. There is some more to do, time permitting and weather permitting on that one. That is about all I have for you.
Okay. Questions of our public works?
Did you do the patchwork up on Grovewood Lane up on the addition of their...
Does it look nice?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, my question is, you know, as well as I do, we've heard complaints. What was different? I mean, I thought that blended in really well.
They're all the same. They're all the same, Jerry. We tailgate spread and we put the rollover. It's all we can do. It's all we have. So that's what we do. Some people are more particular.
Yeah, but I don't think, from what I heard, I didn't go out and look, people were getting tire on their cars and all that. Out there, it didn't happen. Is that a difference in mix? It's something.
No. When you go behind the asphalt truck when he's doing a new road, you're gonna get tar on your car. That's, if you drive over new asphalt.
You did a good job up there.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
But, question for you, the salt, was that priced down a little or was the same as last
Well, about $20 a yard now.
year? Okay, that's
A
what I
ton,
thought.
sorry. A ton.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
And I still think that road should be seal coated.
I know you do. I know you do.
I know.
Not that we're right to micromanage your days or weeks, but is your lawn, or not lawn, what, ditch mowing, is that on schedule?
Yeah, we got some ditch mowing done from fall already, more we have to do
Okay.
yet.
So there'll be a golden opportunity to get rid of some brush before the snow flies. It's only in Denver, so it's gonna be a while before it gets here. So brush cutting, something on the radar screen?
Ditch mowing?
No, brush cutting, I noticed 2 months ago, we talked about it over on Pleasant Lake area.
Yeah, we're gonna wait till, I thought we were gonna wait till
In the
tomorrow.
park.
Oh, that was in the park.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in the park. We're gonna do that
Some of
this
that's
fall.
been done already.
Yeah, I had,
Oh,
I
okay.
had Harvey go and take the small stuff off, small as your finger. Doesn't hurt to treat too much. The bigger stuff, it's best to wait till it's a little colder outside. Sap doesn't want as much.
Great. Just letting the public know that we shift that information to you so that you're aware of it.
You bet.
Don't want to have you go and get fat and sassy on us. Thank you very much there, Gene.
Yep.
Any other comments, questions of our public works? Sensing none, Mr. Administrator?
I have one, Mr. Mayor.
Nothing? Wow. Very good. Council action, we have a few items here. Resolutions 2023, adoption of the preliminary tax levy. We talked about it earlier in our budgeting in our work session. Now would be the formal action that would be taken if we honor what we talked about at the workshop. What's the wishes?
Yeah, just so the public knows too that the current budget for 2021 is even, Steven, it's zero.
Yep.
And in our workshop, I've asked the city if we could do whatever we can to get that more in a negative, maybe 1% reduction, somewhere in there without doing too much damage.
So our preliminary proposal tonight from the council based on our workshop is that we would be advancing that resolution based on zero, as Bill just stated. And many of us remember from last year that going to the department heads to see if we can even carve away some more additional dollars to get that realistic with the pandemic and all of that. I think that's where we all feel at this point that this is the time that we have to cut back. The signal's clear. So anyways.
So I'll go ahead and make a motion to adopt 2020-33 for the 2021 preliminary tax levy.
And is there a specific dollar value? 1,650,000?
1660286.
Okay.
1660286.
Yeah.
Once you approve this, it can be lowered but not raised.
That is correct, yeah. So by September 30th, we need to have it to the county. It used to be the 15th, it's the 30th. And now, prior to the December meeting, or at the latest at the December meeting, is when we can modify it. We can only go down, we cannot go up. So that's a directive. Please, let's work on getting it down.
I'll second the motion.
Very good. Motion's been made and seconded to accept the preliminary tax levy at the amount stated that Mr. Bodie just shared, and that is Resolution 2020-33. Any other last discussion?
I still feel there should have been a referendum for the roads on this, so still have heartburn over that. I wouldn't agree with this.
Okay, so we will be calling the question. Thanks for those comments, Jerry. We'll call the question. All those in favor, unless there's other discussion? No? Sensing none. All those in favor of this motion signify by stating aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Any abstentions? Passed on a 4-1. Would you care to do a roll call on that, Mr. Bodie?
If Mr. Tipple will allow, the record will show a roll, and he's the only negative.
Okay, so 4 of us voted for it, Mr. Tipple voted against. That's what the record will show. Moving along to item B, declaration of restriction Hanson property. Mr. Bodie, would you share with us, or Bill, that was probably something that you had at the planning and zoning?
No.
No, nothing?
So, Mr. Mayor and council members, last month I brought you this agenda item, but prior to the meeting, the requester had removed the request, so you talked about it a little bit. Now I have another formal request requesting the declaration be removed for residential development. One house is what they're asking for on the 16th. I also got a phone call today from a realtor asking that she or he has an inquiry about the same property. It'd be nice to know. I mean, it's for sale. As it sits now, nothing can be built on.
Because of the restriction.
Because of the restriction. And so, I guess, part of me wonders why it's for sale if you can't build on it. Unless it's ag related, I guess you could put up an ag building on it.
I believe we'd be shooting ourselves in the foot to put a residential area out there. It's adjacent to Highway 23. It should be commercial property. It's got a frontage road going behind it. What greater opportunity we had to get that road fixed up than if we had a commercial business or something going in there and we could give them a little tax relief or something to help us fix that road. I think we'd be missing a good opportunity.
Can I debate you a little bit?
Please proceed, as long as it's civil.
So I've had 3 requests in the last month for residential, and I've had 0 for commercial.
It's not being advertised. There's one little sign hanging over there on the frontage road.
Sure, but the property owner has a right to sell his property.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I don't think it'd be in the best interest of the city, in my opinion.
Well, as long as we are in the debate mode, or the uniqueness, I think I agree with you, Jerry, and that is we do have the rights of that individual landowner, and if we were going to pull the restriction off, that's only if there is a viable entity that's coming forward. So we would not pull the restriction unless we had a viable individual. And so that viable individual, if it's just one home on all that acreage, and by the time they put the road in and all of that, the owner or the person that's buying it, if it's a different individual, is going to have a lot of cost. But if it was going to be business, and that same amount of footprint of land will bring a lot more return. So if it was ear tagged for business, and with that frontage road, 230th Street, that we moved back to gravel, if there was business along that corridor on the south side of 23, that would then recoup some of the costs for that 230th if we ever were going to bring it up to speed, and that would take a major reconstruct. Ryan, you lived out there, you know what that shape of that road is.
Well,
we did it right by
about
going
the
back.
whole road, yeah. I just think Highway 23 corridor is what's going to bring Rockville alive.
I think we have an
need to preserve it.
obligation, I think we as a city council have an obligation to let that owner know our thought process. And if it is that somebody was going to go and change it, if it was going to be going to RR, with a lot of wetlands on there, are they going to be able to squeeze 2 units out of there or something like that? And the amount of investment to go out there and have 2 RRs versus the potential of selling it, marketing it as business. It just means, just means logical. It should be on that corridor, industrial or...
Well, I just think that piece of property, I mean, I like the idea you guys are talking about commercial. You're not going to get commercial in there. We got people that want to build homes in there. What's wrong with that? You're not going to get commercial in there.
Never say never.
No, but could be, you know, after you and I are under the ground.
I think.
I don't mean that
No, yeah, I don't
meanly,
agree.
we've got people who want to build on it, their property, I mean, you know, a little bit less government, I think.
I sure wouldn't mind, and I'll bow to the city attorney, I sure wouldn't mind formal council action, one way or the other, so I know what to tell these people. I don't want to keep bringing it to you every month. If your answer is no, it's no.
To take the restriction off?
Yeah, the request is to
Not
remove
unless
the
we
restriction.
rezone it. Why would we take the
It
restriction
has
off?
to be rezoned. That's in our ordinance. The
Yeah.
restriction can't be removed unless it's rezoned.
Right.
Right, absolutely, let's rezone it and let them build on it.
But they're not going to spend the money to rezone if they don't know they own the property. They're not going to make an offer on the property. They know they can build a house on the property. So
We're kind of stuck before.
Sue, help me out here.
Rock and hard place.
This council's got to give the indication that you're willing to lift the restriction
Right.
so they can move forward if you want.
Yeah.
I'm for that.
I'm for lifting the restriction, and we could lift it for residential, or we could lift it for commercial.
Right.
I tend to lean with you, Jerry. The only reason I'm hesitant with the highway and a residential is my backyard is up against it, and I've got trees back there.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, people, the noise sucks.
Brian, we got a big development by Pleasant Lake off of Highway 94.
I know that.
Well, then what's the difference?
And so for these people here, there's nothing between them and the road. So
And that, they could do that, they could
I know, I
put
just,
everything they want there,
Yeah.
not anything, but.
Yeah. But it would
I'll be
take some
careful
time
with
for.
saying that, I got in trouble.
Yeah,
I'm just looking at the best interest of the city.
Yeah.
I am too.
It's good tax base.
Well,
And I like the idea that somebody, a house is gonna generate more tax than this here, but same token, look at what they do down in the cities, then they build them dang sound walls. I mean, if we get enough houses here, then we're gonna be on the hook for building.
Well, we sure didn't
Yeah.
do that on 94.
Well, that might be coming
how
yet.
much total acreage, Mr. Bodie, with this?
This is 16 acres.
16 acres, so with the wetlands, part of the wetlands can be used as the bulk land as long as.
There's another reason, 16 acres of wetlands, what commercial are you gonna put on whatever acreage is
Yeah.
left?
Yeah. And so,
Just to give you more thought, Mr. Mayor, I would ask that you would give me the consensus to tell this inquiry, yes, you'll lift it, but with Sue's help, I'd like to draft a resolution if that's what you want. I don't want to do it by action, I want to see a resolution.
well,
Being that because a resolution could state upon rezoning application for RR or commercial/industrial.
Well, it's a field now, so can't build a house on it anyhow, or
No.
rural residential.
RR, it can have a house.
do we
On
have,
field, on open farmland.
If you rezone it to RR and lift the restriction, sure, you're allowed 1 per 5.
On open farmland.
If you rezone to RR, yes, 1 per 5.
1 for 5, absolutely.
With 2.5 buildable acres.
Is
But
that-
this restriction would be, I would recommend your restriction is 1 building unit for the entire 16 acres. That would be my opinion. You don't have to.
I think we're wasting 16 acres in good tax money.
yeah.
I'm opposed.
Is there a designated corridor along 23 in our comprehensive plan that's designated for?
I was
Isn't
going to
it?
enlarge this. Just to the west is R1.
Yeah, between-
230, the hard surface of 230 is R1.
Yeah, there's R1 just down the road.
Future concept, I believe, is ag with residential. Yeah, I'll take it.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and take a chance here. I'll make a motion that we lift the restriction. And that's what we do for now, and let's see where they go with it.
Restriction without, is.
With the rezoning.
Rezoning?
Well, they're gonna have to apply, aren't they? Yeah, with rezoning, if they apply. Yeah,
And I'll bring you a formal resolution.
Okay.
I've got that in the motion.
Question before we go forward. So that could potentially go to R1 as well, right?
No, I'm going to form the resolution as RR or commercial/industrial.
So that opens it up to,
I realize it does, I'm just throwing this up. Why wouldn't we entertain R1 when you got R1 just right next to it?
Doesn't feel like R1 down there, if I could say that, remember Herberg, I mean, it's ag. I put the restriction in there from when it was applied in 2004. 2005, somewhere in there.
Didn't
It doesn't
we-
feel like R1. I'm not so sure you won
Weren't they doing dirt?
10,200 acres, 10,200 foot
Lots.
residential lots.
Then you'd be fixing the road.
Probably will be with this one house in there.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it.
That's your call, R1.
Okay, and so Bill's got a motion on the floor, and
He
I,
just seconded it.
yeah, and I'm hoping that that motion implied, or certainly included, it must have a zoning change, right, Bill? I mean, just, we're not merely,
It's gonna have to.
It has to be.
yeah.
There's no
So it's
question.
contingent. We'll lift the restriction of the,
With future rezoning.
yeah, with contingent upon a rezoning.
But I think what Marty said, that it could be our commercial or industrial.
Right.
Yeah. Okay,
That's
so
what I would
That's,
second that.
that's what I think, I would kind of go that way too.
it's clear us
Right
what
there
we're
is-
voting on?
Yep.
Okay,
We're both voting on lifting the restrictions.
well, have Marty go and.
This is just to give me an answer to the applicant. I mean,
Not
I will bring you a resolution.
Not necessarily saying we'll rezone it to rural residential.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay, that's good enough. We'll move forward to that.
So our action today, assuming this passes, is that means that's the first step of a two-step process, because they'll draft up a resolution that has the right verbiage on it and stuff like that, but we're sending that signal today. So if we're ready for that motion.
Right.
Clear as mud.
Okay, clear as mud. I'll call the question. All those in favor of that motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Mr. Bodie, you have a clear understanding of what that action just did? Okay, very good. Did we have Agate Beach Road, let's see, do we
Yes.
need formal action on that, or could we do?
Jerry was gonna make a
Oh,
motion.
that's where it was, yeah.
I make a motion to go ahead and do the graveling on all the roads we've,
Contingent that they honor that,
yes, continue to honor the bids per yard.
okay? Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and second to advance, have Public Works continue to work on the Agate Beach, Agate Road also in Green. Is that what we're talking about? The road graveling this fall in concert with the 230th and Mitchell. Other discussion? Sensing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of that motion signify by stating aye. Those opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Passed unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, allocations and payments. That's on page 655 of our council packet. What's the wishes of the council? I believe there was two actions, if I remember right. Mr. Bodie, you have it clear in your mind?
I do.
Conveying,
The one little thing, it's only $106, but I don't want it to bite me. It's been sitting in a separate allocated account probably since 2017. It was $106, well, it includes interest, around $90-some was earned from the
Rockfest.
parking lot out here when they had it, and they charged to park here, and they donated the money to Rockfest. Well, Rockfest has since died, so we'd like to clean up the book a little bit, and we'll put this money in the parks, if that's okay with you.
Transferring it from the Rockfest, which is virtually dormant,
Yep.
to the, okay, that's the one action, we can do it all at the same time, and the other action would be,
Yeah, we can do them both at the same time. The other one was a year ago, the city purchased unit number 11, the Tahoe from the city of Kimball. The Relief Association paid the bill and had asked if the Suburban was ever sold, if the council would allocate that money back to Relief. A little bit further back history is we have said when we can legally make contributions to the Relief Association, we'll do that. If you recall, some things that were allocated that direction were not legal and we had to stop doing that. So this is a legal way to return funds back to Relief.
so assuming the council goes forward with these two transfer actions, that would mean then the Public Works Department would be the,
It's an interdepartment transfer of a vehicle,
Okay.
so they already have it. I'm just
yeah,
asking you.
they're gonna drive it proudly and
Yeah.
keep the dents out of it, and
Well, we hope so.
okay. Well, great. You know the wishes of the administrator at this point?
Second.
Motion's been made and second to transfer allocations of payments of the two mentioned items, the Rockfest closing that out, and then the Rockville Fire Relief purchase of Unit 11. Any other discussions? Sensing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of that motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Passed unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. We are now into the public hearing. This is a zoning ordinance change, so we will recess the city council meeting briefly for the public to advance to the lectern if they care to share with us any of their concerns as it relates to ordinance 2020-110, slight modifications to our C1. And so I'll have the notice of the public hearing. I'll read it quickly. Notice is hereby given that the Rockville City Council will be holding a public hearing on Wednesday, September 9, 2020 at approximately 6:30 at the Rockville City Council, 229 Broadway Street East, to consider amending Section 31, Subdivision 1, Enforcement of the City of Rockville zoning ordinance. A complete copy of the proposed ordinance amendment is available for inspections by any persons during regular office hours at the city administration's office or on the City of Rockville website at www.rockvillecity.org. All persons attending the hearing and wishing to address the City Council will have an opportunity to do so. Those not able to be present at this meeting shall submit their opinions in writing to the Rockville City Administrator, P.O. Box 93, Rockville, Minnesota 56369 prior to this meeting. Martin Bodie, City Administrator. So now is the time for the public to advance to the lectern if they care, to share their concerns about the public hearing. Sensing no one moving forward, there would be a motion in order to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Motion's been made and second to close the public hearing input portion of the rezoning or the zoning ordinance. We are now back to being in session. What's the wishes? The motion would be in order. Ordinance 2020-110, packet, page 56. Sue, you had very incidental, you want to share with us your slight modifications
Yeah,
in red?
Sure, all we're trying to do with the amendment is to make it clear when the city administrator, as the zoning inspector, has to come back to the council for approval before taking any type of enforcement action. So we're limiting that to when legal or court action is required as a follow-up to, say, a notice of violation letter.
And so in your professional opinion, this does then fulfill the concerns that some of us on the council had as a concern?
Yes.
Okay, great. And I think, without getting into in depth unless you care to, a motion would be in order.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second? Any discussion? Okay, I'll sense that we're ready to call the question. All those in favor of ordinance 2020-110, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Passed unanimous. Thank you very, very much. We have under item number 10, Jerry, if you would care, you had said something about signs.
Yes, I've been asked by the pro-life people, the sign out on the east end of town is raggedy, needs to be redone. The question is, I didn't know if it met the ordinance for our signs. It's a triangle one right out here on 47 and 23. It's in the corner on what used to be Molitor's Field is now the truck headquarters property. They're 5 by 8 signs, 3 of them on a triangle. Does that meet our sign ordinance or is it grandfathered in?
I'm sorry, I don't know what do you know? Nope. I don't know what we're talking about.
Well, we're County Road 47.
But I don't know which sign.
So the signage has 3 posts and it's a...
Yes.
Oh, right here?
Yes.
That's county. Is county or private property? You talking about the 400 Club sign?
No, 47 and 23, right by the rack.
Where the fire department is, across the street from the fire department.
Okay.
On the Mullet.
There is a sign. It's so bad you can't tell it's a pro-life sign. But it's 5 by 8 sign, triangle, 3 of them.
Facing 3 sides.
Okay, so then I would need to determine if it's on city right away or if it's...
It is on private property.
Private property.
It's on the highway.
Okay.
Is it too large, is it meet our ordinance? Is there a problem if they fix it?
Well, let me answer one question at a time. If it's been there longer than the last time we updated the sign ordinance, then it's grandfathered in.
That's what I thought,
Yes.
and it has.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's basically
And I
maintenance.
can understand why you don't know what I'm talking about, it's so bad you can't even read it.
Yeah.
So
Marty
can
will check it
they,
out on the way home.
can they make improvements to it, and it's on private property, you said?
It is.
Yes.
As long as it meets our sign ordinance, once they do, I would have to think, if they change the dimensions, they would have to do a permit and abide by our current ordinance. If they do maintenance and keep the same size dimensions, then that's okay.
And that's the intent.
Okay, perfect. Right.
Thank you.
Okay.
And the other thing is, I'd just like to publicly thank Heather Thomas and whoever the people are that are doing that out at Pleasant Lake. It's a great thing. I hope we can get more activity like that. That's all I have.
The chairman of the Rockville Lions happens to be in the building. The Rockville Lions was very instrumental along with Heather and others, so Pleasant Lake, the whole area up there, it's great. I did
Yes.
know your remarks, it is just wonderful.
So Jerry, with your permission, I'd like to continue your recognition that to the Lions Club on next Thursday, not this Thursday. Just to let them know that.
Yes, I mean, it needs to be recognized that, yeah. People are noticing and people like it and
Just
Thank you.
wonderful.
it's a good thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
motion's been made to adjourn, it's not debatable.
At least we
All
get
in
something
favor,
done.
signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye, we are adjourned. Thank you. Gentlemen, gentlemen.